Yo, Sticky, good word, bro. Hey man, right on the wall, bro. My bag. I'm sitting up here checking my damn Facebook shit this morning. Oh, you see that? I didn't even flip the fucking camera yet. He said rock art. No. Wow. Yo, somebody I know just first. Yo, somebody I know just posted like their Halloween costume. I don't know what to say for these folks, man. Alright. Enough enough of the social media. That was my first time checking social media this morning though. My bad. Yo, everybody seen that Doom movie, right? The new Doom movie? Man, that shit is so good, yo. Yeah, but we already seen all this coming, man. We seen all this coming, man. A prison planet, the lockdown state, the mega smart cities. You know what I'm saying? Where there's two classes of people, even more defined. You know what I'm saying? Now it's gonna be the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. You're a second class citizen. You're not vaccinated. Oh my God. You want to work here? You want to shop here? You want to travel here? Um, I can agree with that. I definitely can agree with this right here. It's neither social or media. You know, because you know our social interaction is historically person to person physical proximity relationship and and as far as media, I mean, media is any type of outlet that seeks to inform a general population. So in that way, I can see like how social it's still media, but the social part has definitely has been reevaluated as something else, yo. But at the same time, I do like social media because I can get an instant update from somebody in Germany and understand and knowing what's going on from a first-hand perspective of someone there. I can get almost instantaneous information updates from Japan, New York, Alaska, Hawaii, Syria, the Ukraine, like because of my social network. Um, and so that's how I always try to use social media as a tool, as a building tool, building connections that would otherwise be almost impossible to make. I have I have conversed with people in Bangladesh. I would probably have not been able to do that any other way unless we had access to social media. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. Well, I just posted something on my Facebook the other day. So I posted this right here. It says uh, Kings, chapter 6, verses 28 and 29. Somebody look that up real quick, yo. I just happened to post like a random Bible verse on my page. Kings, chapter 6, verse 28 and 29. And Facebook fact checkers and all this other shit now. And like, look, it says, "We hope you enjoy looking back and sharing your memories on Facebook, from the most recent to those long ago. Here's a recent memory. This post can no longer be made available." Like, we love to remind you of your memories, but not these memories. You can't look back at these because these are now sensitive and hurtful. What the verse say? Kings, Kings chapter 6, verse 28, 29. You want me to tell you? It's just some funny shit, man. It's just funny stuff in the Bible. It ain't even like it ain't like no real profound uh motherfucking prophecy or nothing like that. It's just like some funny shit. But so I started a new commission. That's what I'll be working on today. Oh, I can definitely believe it, bro. That's just some funny shit that's in the Bible, man. It's just a funny story, yo. It was a famine going through the city. Nobody ain't got no food, man. So the two ladies, they made a deal with each other, right? Because they both had little kids, little baby sons, right? So the one lady said, look, man, we gonna starve to death. How about we kill your son and eat your son, and then tomorrow we'll kill my son and eat my son. And the other lady was like, all right, that sounds like a plan. So we killed her. They killed the son and ate the kid, right? And then the next day, the lady was like, all right, it's time to kill your son. But that chick, she done ran off and hid her son somewhere else. Like, bitch, you not eating my son. After we done ate your son already, but I ain't gonna let you eat my son. Cannibalism. It's a funny story though. Ha ha ha. Let's kill your son so we may eat him, and then tomorrow we'll eat my son. They'll be corrupted all scriptures, changing none of that shit. What about in the book of Kings as well? I forgot what chapter it is, but the kids, uh, the kids called the one dude bald head. Yeah, yo, the kids called the dude bald head, right? Because he had a bald head, and then he uh he asked God to put a curse on these kids, and two bears came out the woods and mauled all these little kids to death. Two bears, in the name of God, mauled little kids to death for calling a bald dude bald. I understand that too, but at the same time, you you got to understand that the manuscripts that we know, they're translations of interpretations of translations of an oral tradition from thousands of years ago. There is no way possible for anyone alive today to have access to any of the original writings of the scriptures or the original tellings of any story. There's no way in fucking hell. We've been telling these stories for a long time. The origins of them are lost to history. And it had to go from goddamn Aramaic to Hebrew to fucking Latin to Jewish to old English to English and all these fucking languages before you can get it and understand it. Ain't no way in hell any of the stories hold true and hold intact, and you don't know which parts are corrupted and which parts aren't. And because you can't believe none of that shit. Once they started talking about eating babies and talking donkeys and snakes and fire breathing water dragons, then you might as well just throw the whole book out. You can't say, oh, they hit the nail on the head with that mark of the beast part, but some of that other shit kind of sketchy. Then now you are cherry picking because this makes sense, but this doesn't make sense to me. It's very subjective, man. You know, and that's why every preacher can preach the same verse with a little different flair and a little bit different interpretation of it, because everybody has to cherry pick what parts they like and what parts they don't like, and then you have to explain to yourself why this makes sense to me and why this doesn't. Oh, because the white man has corrupted these scriptures. I can see beyond the BS. That's why I don't subscribe to any religion or any religious texts or scriptures. All of them seem like fairy tales, allegories, and stories to me. You know what I'm saying? They're fables. And do fables have uh like good moral lessons? Hell yeah. You can learn a lot from like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and Alice in Wonderland and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? The Wizard of Oz. These stories have like truths in them that really are complex, and but that shit don't make it real. That shit don't mean it really happened. You know, none of that shit don't make it fucking don't legitimize it as facts. Oh yeah, definitely you can find stories in any book that you can take uh the good things from. Like I said, there's any story, any fable, anything. Jack and the Beanstalk. You know what I'm saying? There's you can find good moral lessons and truths and meaning in any story. That don't mean it's real though. That don't mean that shit ever happened. I love all the Greek mythology and the Nordic mythologies. The Egyptian mythologies are fucking cool as shit, you know what I'm saying? Osiris and Set and all that shit, man. And the underworld, shit's cool as fuck. But is that really true? I don't think so. Well, you know what I'm saying? If motherfuckers snitch me out, I ain't about to sit around and break bread with you. But that's just me. I learned from the Matrix, man. I should have taken the blue pill, man. You know what I'm saying? The Matrix is like one of the most philosophical films and stories ever. That I relate to that more than I relate to the Bible, where we're actually trapped inside of a construct that has altered our sense of time and space and has given us a false reality just to keep us occupied while we sleep. And that's kind of like how the world is right now, because we live in a false sense of time where, it's the year 2000 and something, but how old is the earth? How old is recorded history? How come there was a 0 point with Christ, and now we we count down to zero. Now we're counting up from 2,000 some years ago. Like, we're living in a really weird time frame, and that's why, like, the Japanese, they think it's the year, 10,000 or some shit like that, or like other calendars are just different, and their time goes from the time they started counting time, and it's been going forward until then. Unlike our shit that counted down and then counted back up. It's the weirdest thing. And so we already have this false sense of time and space that we think it's one time and one date when it's really not. And then we all have this sense of reality, but we don't really see like the real reality that controls like the larger workings of the system. And so once again, the Matrix is more real than a lot of other shit, yo. Ooh, thank you. I don't need that.
For you, Sam? For your eggs?
Oh, it's the Gregorian calendar. Yeah. And they had to add more time onto it because you can tell that the last months of the year were already numbered. October. Octo, 8. So October is 8. November, nueves, 9. October, November, December, decagon, 10. 8, 9, 10. October, November, December. We only had 10 months. The last month is December. It was the 10th month. But then they started filling around because the time kept getting off because of leap years and all this shit. And so they had to add 2 months to the calendar. Because for a long time, the older civilizations went on a lunar calendar, not really a solar calendar. Okay.
You're not getting nothing.
But yeah, they got everything fucked up right now. Oh yeah. That's why you gotta get a certificate for your birth. You already in the system, man. You just can't be born a free person. I just come out the pussy and just walk around, just breathe air and drink water. Nah, you gotta have a certificate. As soon as you come out the pussy, they gotta stamp you, mark you down. hmm As soon as you come out, you property of the fucking state, bro. State property. Let's process this social security number real quick. This is who you are now.
No, this shit's not a game. I knew this girl when I lived in Nevada who, like I said, her parents let her visa expire when she was still a teenager, and she never renewed it, so she's technically illegal. And she's been working at the same fast food place for forever because it's the only place she can work without having her social.
So nobody.
Exactly. And then like she hated her boyfriend, but like she couldn't just leave. Like literally, she would just be asked out. She couldn't get work. She couldn't do anything. Everything she do, she had to do under the table. And she's been here since she was like young.
Without that social security number, you ain't
doing
nothing.
shit. Yeah, she was good when she had her visa and stuff, but her mom let it expire, never renewed it, and she's been screwed ever since. Although she's old enough now to get it, but it is expired. They attack your children's brains.
I get it, bro. Greta Thunberg will save us. The world is heating up. You climate deniers.
Her parents.
What about my generation? What about my kids?
Don't you feel like her parents are selling her out?
Man, they getting that bread.
I don't know that she's old enough, so my daughter was like, look, I'm trying to get this bread. I don't know, but that little girl be about to have a heart attack. She be yelling, veins be popping. This is like the third time we had grits this week.
You're killing the planet. Oh, I feel you. I feel you, bro. Like I said, I've been doing this shit for years, man. I've been doing this shit for a long time, bro. I watched the Rad Brad play a lot of that shit, yeah. I didn't watch him play everything just in case I might play it one day.
Good thing we won't eat cow every day.
Oh no, cows don't grow every day.
That's why salmon a day and chicken tomorrow.
Yep. You gotta alternate your protein sources.
I'm good, Jedi. Enjoying this good meal. About to roll up. How are you?
Oh, what happened? You see me right there? With like all these DVDs in my hand? These are like stacks of DVDs. Right? You can clearly see like all these stacks of DVDs in my hand. Tons of DVDs, yo. Right?
Definitely blessed if you woke up this morning. A lot of people didn't.
You want to see the DVDs I was holding?
Police State 2000, Police State 2, Total Takeover, Police State Part 3, Vaccine Dangers, Loose Change, Money Masters, Fall of the Republic. This right here. You see that DVD? Camp FEMA, Terror Storm, Hidden Dangers in Kids Meals, 9/11 Mysteries. The Obama Deception,
Wow.
Endgame,
9/11 was an inside job.
Oath Keepers.
What's that? Like literally what it is? Or?
Yeah, everybody who signs up for any public service, like police officers, firefighters, military service, you take an oath to serve
The people.
this, and then so you have to. Oath Keepers is an organization formed to make sure, like, you do not take illegal orders from any superiors because you're trained to keep your oath.
Keep your oath.
This is 2010, bro.
Sticky, you need some melatonin.
Yeah, this is 2010, bro. I've been doing this
Keep your ass
shit.
to sleep.
I've been doing this shit for years, yo.
And we was crazy because we was talking about mandatory vaccines. Now we crazy for not wanting it. Think about how they got these people's brains on lockdown.
Once again, dude, back in 2010, I was already giving out DVDs to people called Vaccine Dangers. literally passing these DVDs out, trying to get people not to get vaccinated. 11 years ago. This photograph is from at least 11 years ago, where I have a DVD called Vaccine Dangers. Vaccine Dangers. I was passing this shit out to my community for free. Me and my homie would print up all these DVDs you see in my hand. I would spend my own money and spend our own time to make dozens and dozens and dozens of copies of all these DVDs. And then we would ride around every city and pass these shits out to people for free. We would give them to people for free. So
Me are only sleep for 4 to 5 hours. No, that's Travis.
yeah, and so I get everything you saying, bro, because I've been doing this shit for over a decade. I've been doing research for over a decade. I've been trying to inform and educate people for over a decade. So this vaccine shit ain't nothing new to me.
Even when we first
Yeah.
got together, I was trying to tell you all this stuff, and you like, girl, it ain't nothing that I don't know. And I really didn't know, like, the extent. Because, you know, normally when you know shit, other people don't.
Yeah.
So, like, I've never met a man that, like, knows more than I know on that conspiracy shit. And then I meet you, and you like, girl, it ain't nothing you could tell me. But you done taught me shit.
Exactly. And so this has been an agenda that's been in the making for a long time.
People judge us hard for not being vaccinated.
And I'm not surprised that this global lockdown was as efficient as it was, because they scared everybody into submission. That's nothing surprises me.
Mm-hmm.
Really, literally, like legitly, like nothing surprises me at all. These lockdowns, these mandates, this travel restriction if you don't have your vaccine card. No, none of this shit don't surprise me, bro. I've been preparing for this shit for, once again, 15 years. I've been seeing this shit coming for 15 years at least.
You want this last little bit of salmon?
Yeah. And so, like, when the sheep will bow down and everybody just like, that shit don't surprise me at all. Don't nothing surprise me no more, yo. You know what? I just try to eat healthy, exercise, drink enough water, get enough sunlight, save enough money, have enough food provisions on hand, and so that anything fucking happens, I can take care of me and mine. That's all I give a fuck about, yo.
Yeah, and everything does come from them, but I feel like they also need us to an extent too. Like if they shut everything down, then what? Who eating ramen noodles for breakfast? My baby has salmon, toast, eggs, and grits. Don't
Yeah.
play.
I had some motherfucking this fucking Alaskan fresh caught salmon that was I grilled. Mm. Fish and grits, man. Fish and grits.
Fish and grits. Some nice fresh coffee.
Yeah. And if you like fish and grits and all that pimp shit, everybody let me hear you say, oh yeah, yeah. Now throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. And if you like fish and grits and all that pimp shit, everybody let me hear you. And if you got oodles and noodles that look like that, bro, I don't know what kind of ramen you eating, man. You need to throw that shit out.
Throw it out. It's expired, Jenna. Nah, I just was telling some of the other people in his stream that he got me on fried fish, number one. I never just said, oh, I'm going to eat some fried fish. And we done had fried fish like twice in 2 weeks. And then we done had grits 3 times this week. So this other motherfucker done been rubbing off on me.
Alright, I'm good, man.
Definitely.
Me and you, your mama and your cousin too. Riding down the strip on Vogue.
Yo, when they drop those animation videos.
Cadillac doors.
Outkast is definitely the greatest.
Big Boy
Andre's
dropped
my
a
favorite.
freestyle a little while ago. And then KRS-One just dropped another freestyle.
But not just that, they like I said, they released that whole visual for their album. Like they like re-recorded it, or I think they mastered it and then put a visual. We watched the one video, remember the Big Boy and Andre?
Yeah.
But it's hard to find because when you type it in, it brings up the original. But they dropped a whole new project where they just remastered the old one. And I heard Andre on something recently. Andre come through every now and again to drop a verse for somebody, but that's about it.
Bro, we got 19 days. 16 hours
he been
and some
counting
shit.
down. Count down. You can come in now. Go.
You see in my search history? Battlefield 2042 countdown. Countdown timer. I just click on this every couple days. I was almost right. Yeah, 19 days, 14 hours,
Come on.
43 minutes, bruh.
She's so funny. She don't want to come in here now.
Gotta keep the counter up there, yo. Yes, I'm ready for Battlefield.
Gangstar, yeah.
I'm more ready for Battlefield than you are, bro.
No, that song with Black Thought, We Could Be Good, that shit's hot.
Cause it came in a box, and when you open the box, it looked like this. But then when you put it together, that shit looked like that.
Oh yeah, that chair is that. Literally, I took a nap downstairs last night for like 2 hours. I woke up, this man not even playing games no more, watching TV, still sitting in that damn chair.
Yo, so I'm ready. I got the new game chair. Got the PS5. Yeah, I'm ready for Battlefield, bro.
Let's go. You see this bit? I know we were just talking about it, but I guess it's official now.
Bitch.
He launched his own. I don't think it's like no beef. Like if I had artists under me and they did
I want
so
them to
well,
do good.
yeah, like do your own thing, bro. We
But
still
at the
gonna link
same-
up and make
yeah,
songs.
That's like Kid Cudi love good music. Okay, so I got my own fan base. I can do good by myself now. Well, he was doing good. Well, Cudi had a fan base before he went to good music. And then he left good music. And then years later, Kanye still came back to Cudi and be like, yo, bro, let's do an album together, man. I miss your style. And they did that Kids See Go shit. And that shit was hard as fuck, son. That shit was hard as fuck. Even after, like I said, they did that project after Cudi left the label. Like,
Right. Oh wow. Yo, so another thing, black women that are like in any type of like industry, like entertainment industry, modeling, whatever, I be a lot of white makeup artists and they don't be having people to do their hair and makeup. This chick who's so beautiful, I see the call. She had to literally do her own everything because they just didn't have colors to match her skin. I'm just like, it's 2021.
That's why Kanye be booming, because she still go to New York and do a lot of makeup and shit over there.
And that's why Rihanna's so big and why Victoria's Secret is dying. Because number one, Victoria's Secret don't make shit for plus size or big women. And then number two, all your models have been white until the past however many years ago. And Rihanna puts white girls in her show, but it's mainly black women and other minorities. That's crazy. And she prettier than all the other models too on top of it. Playboy Cardi, why people love him? I don't know. We don't listen to Playboy Cardi like that. Google introduces Pathways, a new generation of AI.
I think I might get the Google Pixel phone, man, and just be Googled out, yo. Just give Google all my information.
Let Netflix hack into your brain.
What is up, everyone? This is Ronnie. Today, we are going to talk about social media. How can you boost engagement on social media? How can you create content that people would want to interact with? So if you're ready...
So this is one of the brand designers for Canva.
Hello,
I've
hello,
listened to a
good
lot of
people.
his
This
stuff lately.
is Ronnie. I'm super happy
Google
to
is
be
giving
back
all
with
U.S.
you
community
for
colleges
another
free
tutorial.
access
The
to
topic
their
of today
4
is social
career
media.
certificates.
What?
I'm in community college. What's the free certificate? It's
This new app called Voyage is a marketing
no,
app.
There's stuff in here. Use it.
No, we're gonna use a short one.
All right, I don't know.
What?
Babe, I want to smoke a food doobie, please.
What's the difference?
As a food one. Instead of having to roll one twice.
No, because we don't normally smoke the whole thing anyway.
But I brought my weed. You ain't gotta use your weed. Thanks for trying to save my weed from me.
They blocking me.
The Samsung Fly. I love Ree with her big forehead. Big forehead girls are the best, okay?
She do got a pretty big forehead though.
She's pretty though.
Yo, that
But
Google Pixel 6, yo, that shit look nice as fuck, yo. And then I don't give a fuck what phone you got. What web browser do you use when you look up anything? And be honest. Oh, I use Bing. Oh, I used it. No, everyone fucking uses Google. Google is like the #1 search engine in the fucking world right now.
FDA clears first coronavirus vaccine for those that are 5 to 11 years old.
Wow, they got the ones for the 12 to 16. Now they got the babies.
Next is going to be, now we got this for pregnant women. This is my thing. Because I was told that pregnant women can't get it.
No.
So if a pregnant woman can't get it, I don't want it.
Now it's gonna be inoculation at birth. Soon as the baby come out, boop, get it with all your other shots, yo. Like as soon as you come out the womb, they gotta give you all your shots. The baby COVID shot gonna be in there with it.
We definitely not gonna smoke the whole thing because you stuffed it.
Ain't nobody stuffing shit. Watch and see.
If you are stuffing it, it's fine. But anyway, Jay-Z, Jadakiss, Conway the Machine, and Black Road G join forces for King Kong Rhythm.
King Kong what?
King Kong Rhythm. An A-list collaboration is taken from the official soundtrack for The Harder They Fall.
Yo, Kanye the Machine, he fucking with Jay-Z though?
It says, lucky moviegoers were able to check out the premiere of Jay-Z, James Lassiter, and Jemez. I don't know if it's spelled weird. It's not spelled like James. It's Jeymes. It's either James or Jemez. Jemez Samuel backed Western, The Harder They Fall. Set to land on Netflix in November, the ensemble film stars Jonathan Majors, Idris Elba, Zazie Beetz, Regina King, Lakeith Stanfield, and loads more. I might have to watch that if Lakeith's in it. The Harder They Fall. Yeah, and Idris and Jay-Z's on the soundtrack. The fall's eventual streaming release is preceded by its official soundtrack, a 14-track compilation that sees contributions from the likes of CeeLo Green, Coffee, oh, that's the reggae girl, Kid Cudi, Seal, Barrington Levy, and Lauryn Hill. The biggest, most immediate standout from the project is the Samuel-produced King Kong Rhythm, a booming cut with Jay-Z, Conway, Jadakiss, and Back Row G. Jeezy reveals Jay-Z once helped him in a fist fight. That's hilarious. There's not a lot of news going on right now, if that's what's coming up.
Yeah.
There's a new HBO docuseries coming out called Black and Missing to focus on black missing persons. That's pretty cool. Archaeologists use lasers to find nearly 500 Mesoamerican monuments hidden in the Mexican jungle. That's interesting. Um, this is funny too.
Yeah. Why?
They were rude to him,
So he's like, you know what? I'm taking all my money out this fucking bank.
and I want you to count it.
All my money right now.
They probably didn't think he was
You
rich.
know who I am?
Yeah, they didn't think he was
Yeah.
rich, treated him bad. He was like, oh, pull that million out, and oh, while you at it, make sure you count it by hand, and I'm gonna need you to double check it. But I would think they would have some type of like machine or something to put the money in, like a counter, right? Or they don't do that at the bank. Like,
Yeah, I seen a story about Granny. Yo. That Dave Chappelle stand-up was funny as fuck to me, son. And I watched that shit twice already. And I've been watching everybody else talk about it and break it down. And the other gay chick that tried to, say some shit about him.
yeah, them old people homes ain't no joke. And he said, do you smoke papers? Yeah.
That's really all I smoke now is papers.
Finally, all them backwoods you were smoking.
All right.
When I first switched over to papers, I felt like that shit burned my throat. Or if I smoke a paper that's not like the raw hemp, the organic raw hemp, I feel like it burns my throat, like them black papers.
You know what? I got a varnish and wire thing. We gotta go out. Let me do that real quick while we in the chat. Oh shit. I can wire them real quick, and I know this one back here is ready to be varnished, but I can probably wait.
All right, now Jedi, what's the strain of the day?
So we're gonna wire this. So in that top jar, babe, I have it's a cup, a little plastic cup with the eye hooks in there. You can find that for me.
In there?
And this type of whoa. Put these on.
No, we never smoked plastic glucose papers. But we have smoked a little
It's
glass.
not plastic, but it looks like it.
We have smoked out of the tip when I used to smoke
Are you
tobacco.
talking about the see-through papers, yo? Because there's always something sharp and pointy in there, Charles.
No, it's a little cup, like that cup right there. It's that right there, but okay, grab those. And then there's some wire that's braided wire.
What's yarn? Rubber band.
It's on a spool like it looks just as a spool like that, but it's braided.
This doesn't belong in there. This can come out of there.
Hey, that's my junk drawer. Don't try to clean that right now. Just find what
I can't find it because there's so much junk in your junk drawer. Earplugs.
Is that not braided? No, it's all straight. That's all straight. Well, it depends on what. There it is, right there in the corner, right here in the front. Yeah, that's the braided one. Yeah. Keep that one out. I need to get some more of that. The other one is good, but they're good for like smaller things. I'd rather use that braided shit I use right here.
Jesus.
The city gloves. All right, so like I said, I wanna put some eye hooks and wires on this thing, so I can, and then I can varnish it. So I probably want to like brush it off a little bit too before I varnish it because it has been sitting here for a while. And my dog does me here like shake fur everywhere. All right. So get two of these eye hooks out, and I'll do not the biggest ones, like the medium-sized ones, I guess.
Have we watched Squid Games?
You know you watched that shit twice.
Twice.
Watched that shit twice, son. Velcro? Oh no, that's something for my car, for the old car too.
So you don't need it.
Maybe. I'll probably sell on eBay.
Okay, babe.
Watch Squid Games twice. Man, you gotta watch that Dune movie. Ain't nobody watched that Dune movie?
That was really good. What's this?
Oh, if I can't work and earn money, hey man, I'll just be a full-time artist. I done tried it before. It is kind of hard, but like each year, like my popularity grows and grows, and my fan base grows and grows each year. So, honestly, I feel like I'm to the point where I could almost be a full-time artist if I took like more commissions that I normally wouldn't take, and I've also been to the point where I can get like more mural work in the summertime. Like murals aren't my thing, but they pay hella good, yo. And so if I couldn't clock in for someone else, my nigga, I'm not gonna starve to death.
Even if we gotta like go like grow our own shit.
Yeah,
like,
and I own my own house. Like I don't have a mortgage. I own my house. All I have to do is just keep my taxes paid. And I own a piece of land in South Carolina. So like
this is for your old car?
that's a Charger.
Then why does it have this on it? It's just decoration.
Yeah, it's just
That's weird.
I don't know.
I've never seen a Charger shaped like this. This is good stuff we could be using on Charger boxes.
I don't own it, you know. Like I said, I gotta pay my taxes. Are they gonna come try to seize it?
Sticky, I'm gonna need you to smoke something this morning. What you smoking today?
Yeah.
Because who else just said they put something in the air with us?
Yeah.
Jedi.
There are certain clauses in the Patriot Act that allows the government to take your land, especially if you have water on your property. If there's a pond or a stream or any kind of water source on your property, the government can definitely seize your land if it's like in lieu of some national emergency.
You always high? Oh damn.
But
Klaus Schwab.
I currently have more ownership of this parcel of land than anyone else does technically. But I am fully aware of the powers that can really just like swoop that shit away. Swoop. It's mine now, bitch. But nothing. You puny peon.
Not even gonna ask no questions. You need this? A bond? Bond?
Yeah, it's like glue. It's like a 2-part glue or something, right?
Dispense equal lengths of base and accelerator onto the mix pan, spatula together, apply cement inside the crown and seal. Excess can be trimmed after 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know, maybe if I have to glue something to my art or glue some glass together or something.
It expired in 2018, but we'll keep it.
What is you really going through my old junk drawer? Like there's nothing in there for you? Just interested in that.
I'm not interested. I
Go
cleaned
ahead.
everything in here, babe.
I get
Remember
it.
when you told me not to clean your studio and I cleaned it and I did a great job?
Yeah, go ahead.
Come on.
Alright, now I need my tool. Oh, it should be on the side of the TV. Aha. See, I do keep some shit in the center spot.
Thankfully, that's what I'm saying. If I can get this organized, then we can get you some little baskets and drawers, like for inventory.
Oh, Klaus Schwab.
Most of this is just car stuff.
That means they branded it this way. And now you can be fact-checked on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube for mentioning it because they say it's a conspiracy theory.
It's from their website, people.
Here's another thing. This happened yesterday. We found the clip. Al Franken was on CNN. And he wasn't grabbing the anchor's wrist.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to be clear, I think it was absolute
about it.
bullcrap. I don't think Al Franken should have been fired for that. Right. And I know we should play by the left's rules. The truth is, if you look at what he did, this was not a fireable offense, and he stepped down, actually, I believe.
He did, yeah.
And I thought it was bullcrap. Look, if he was voted for by his people, they should have to deal with him.
Yeah, absolutely. He should still be there making a fool of himself.
So he was on CNN, and we're going to start building a case here, so I want you to watch all of this. This is an admission of the Great Reset. This is where he's talking about, specifically, costs of goods and gas going up. And he's actually saying that's a good thing. Here he was yesterday, and I was right, 6:15 a.m. Central on CNN. And the numbers, I think, if you go back, were because, and let me tell you why. This isn't bragging about how I remembered it. It rattled me to my core.
Yeah.
When I'm sitting there and I'm listening to, I was in the shower and I have my Bluetooth speaker, and I hear Al Franken saying this. I'm like, wait, what? This is where we're saying the same thing. And I've said this before. I think Gavin has talked about this before as well. We're saying the same thing, and we're having different reactions. Where he's saying, yeah, you're going to pay more for gas, but you're going to get free childcare from the government. I don't really think that's a trade-off. I don't really think it's a good trade-off. Why? Because you suck at everything. Here's Al Franken admitting that gas goods are going to be more expensive, but you'll like it.
I think last time I was here, we talked a little bit about supply chain and inflation, and some of that is hangover from the pandemic. And but you're right, Thanksgiving dinner is going to be more expensive, and gas prices. Americans really care about that, but they also are going to care about, in Europe, on childcare, on the average European country puts $14,000 into each child,
I saw that.
supplementing their parents to do childcare.
No,
in the United States, it's $500. That's going to save a tremendous amount of money for parents. and it's going to free up parents to go to work.
There you go. Now, pay more for everything.
Once you get a
It'll
picture of
allow
me
us to,
holding
have your
this
children for the entire day.
Ah.
And
Like,
women, it'll allow
whole
you to
stack
go to
of
work.
books
This
and
is the
show me.
assumption.
Actually, my
All
stack
women
is
want to
like
go to
this
work.
tall, yeah.
We should have joint income households. Every couple. That's how it should be. You should pay more for gas. Basically, you will own nothing, and we'll show a clip where it actually says this. You will own nothing, you will rent, and you will be happy because we will provide the bare necessities, and everything else
Guess
will be
what?
out of
Guess
reach
what? When I
because
got
it
that
will
new
be too
song,
expensive.
oh,
That's good.
Keely top.
Right,
Don't
and,
play.
that is the kind of reset that I want. What
Oh,
you just
fitted
said,
dress?
thinking that you have to have
Those
a
nice fitted
two-parent or two-person income for every single family and just let the government raise your
Yeah,
kids.
that
No,
would
no,
be
no,
sexy.
no.
Got ghosts in the
Your
shell.
job
I guess you
as
can
a
wear a
parent
tank top
is
and show
to,
your
I don't know, it's in the
sexy
title,
body.
be a
I won't
parent.
be jealous.
I understand that some people have to have two incomes. Some
I
people,
got
I
the
get that.
same
I'm not
sweats.
saying anything bad about that.
Yeah,
But
you're
I'm
not
saying
allowed
that
to
should
wear gray
not be the
sweatpants
norm.
either,
The
but we're
government
gonna
should
let
not
you
be in the
slide
business
today.
of raising your children. And right now, I'm sorry they are. We've seen the results of it for the last 40, 50 years.
You want this
I don't know. Do you
old
think
pink
it's
stuff
better now
from
than it was then?
2014?
Do you think you have more love in the family now? Do you think you have more people staying together now? Do you think you have less crime now? Do you think you have better outcomes for people's mental health now?
Well, public
I don't think
schools
so.
have done wonders for urban communities.
No, but the Democrats knew that.
Yeah, no,
They
they
did it on
absolutely
purpose.
did.
It
Look,
wasn't bad at
they
that
have their
time,
kids
though.
for 8 hours a day from 5
that's-
through,
no, that's not
I
bad.
guess, 18, 17,
That's
18,
after
19,
taxes and all
18.
that.
I graduated early at 16. I always get that confused.
Well, now they
So
want-
have you for 8 hours a
Yeah,
day,
they took
and now they want to have you for an
$300 in
additional,
taxes.
well,
2-3 years.
2-3 years. Yeah. Because trust the government. So in the U.S. right now, gas is $3.39 a gallon, which shocks many people because it was in the dollar range
It was
for a very long time.
You got
Lower.
overtime.
And in the UK, it's $7.44 a gallon.
Oh my gosh.
So more than twice the price. Norway, $8.55 a gallon. Germany, $7.38. France, $7.23 a gallon. In Quebec, where I was raised, it's at least 2 times what it is here at any given moment. They go by liters. And remember, it was so bad. The gas prices were so high. And people were complaining for so long that they put a pie chart
Oh gosh.
on the pump station. Pop Scott, explain it to people who don't remember.
Yeah, the pie chart really was to say, hey, we're not screwing you. This is where your money's going. Tax was the
Yeah, it
red,
showed where all the
little
money-
sliver was profit.
Yeah, in Quebec. So they made sure that the gas companies, it was Esso and Petro-Canada, I believe, said, look, if you're going to talk about oil barons, talk about big government barons.
Yeah.
They are the reason this gas is so expensive. And you see
love it.
in comparing prices to the United States and Europe and Quebec. Okay, let's compare the highest income tax rates. Let's look at those marginal tax rates, okay? This is important because he says, no, you'll like it. We'll be the European model. The United States, it's $37,000. That's the highest bracket if you're making over 37% on $500,000. If you're making over $500,000. I love how Biden wants to reduce that to anyone making over hey, what's your salary? Anyone making over 400,000. It's a random number. It's just your exact salary. You picked it by accident. And then the
That's where I
UK
wear
is
gloves when I dig through that
45%,
thing.
but you only have to be making $200,000 a year.
Wow.
So you're being taxed half. Germany, 45% at 318. France, 45% if you're making 185,000. Where I was raised, I said, make sure I'm correct on this. It actually went up from what I remembered. It is 53% income tax in Quebec for households making 221,000.
I know
That
this
is
thing
insane,
ain't
and that
making
doesn't
The
make
household or individual? I don't know that.
I think
don't
it's
know.
households.
I think it's household.
Yeah.
Because it used to be 51%, but it was a much, much lower threshold.
Yeah.
53%.
Camera?
Unbelievable.
And the poultry sum they let you
Something
keep now gets taxed.
There's a VAT tax in
Well,
Quebec.
yeah,
We have a VAT
exactly.
tax.
15%.
15% when you, but it's actually worse. 7% tax total, and another 7% tax. You're taxed on tax. So what do you? Let's say, okay, well, look, the rich can pay their fair share in Quebec, my home province, right? This is what Al Sharpton is. Al Sharpton. Al
I don't know if
Franken.
it's
I sound like Al.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is what
Yeah.
Alfred Kin
Right?
was praising.
There are other letters.
Troll,
sir.
I can't read, but
I
let's
mean, it's
roll.
something.
So, all right, 53% on $221,000 income tax. Okay, and gas prices are twice the price. Costs of goods and services are often twice the price.
Yeah.
People don't understand this. Milk, we purchase them in bags. It's very weird.
Oh, I'm not
So that you
buying
don't see
it
how
all.
high the price of a
You
gallon
know what I'm
is.
saying? I
in Quebec.
already
Wow.
figured that.
Just want to be clear, it's a much higher cost of living.
That's
I
not
remember when I was a
bad.
kid.
I just got to figure out a different way to educate my people now, so I choose to use my art, dude. Like, all the protesting and screaming and shouting, man, that shit don't work, bro. Trust me, that shit don't work. You know what I'm saying? You go out there and do that shit all fucking day, man. You ain't gonna make no real impact like that.
So we gotta figure out new ways to do this shit. And the only way you can do that shit really is by capturing intellectual minds so that we come up with intellectual solutions to our problems, because we got some hard ass problems. And first of all, it's hard for us to even understand the problems. And then to educate the minds to be logical and critical enough to try to figure out solutions to these problems. And going out here screaming Black Lives Matter and all that shit, man, that shit don't change shit, bro. That shit don't do shit, bro. So now I just use my art to try to influence people. I use myself as a character of what should be.
A full QR code society.
The same reason that you already take mandated shots when you're in the hospital. It's mandatory for babies to have a certain set of immunization shots before your child enters into a public school. It is mandatory for them to have their state immunization shots. If you, even before COVID, like if you traveled to Africa or certain Middle Eastern countries, it was like mandatory for you to take something against malaria or some other shit when you travel abroad. When you join the military, it is mandatory for you to take a certain set of vaccinations and immunization shots. And so it's very easy for them to mandate a vaccine. Now, for what purposes are the mandates? Now that's a whole different story. But you can't say, "Oh, how can they just mandate a vaccine?" They've been mandating vaccines for decades.
I'm torn on certain ones because, like, okay, for example, I got all the HPV vaccines because men are silent carriers, so you can get HPV, and it never affect you. But then when I'm older, I could get cervical cancer. So like, I have gotten the HPV vaccines when I was young, like before I was even 18 years old. I got them. So it was already in my system, but that is the one where I like kind of made an exception for, because I feel like HPV really does fuck up women with that cervical cancer shit.
But it's the thing.
But like
too,
with the COVID vaccine, you recover from COVID.
It's not even a vaccine. It's a gene therapy, because a vaccine is supposed to prevent you from contracting certain viruses indefinitely. You get the HPV vaccine, you don't catch HPV. You get the fucking smallpox vaccine, you won't contract smallpox. You get the fucking whooping cough vaccine, you won't contract that shit. It's a vaccine is meant to stop the transmission of a virus. Whatever these COVID shots are, they're not true vaccinations, because you can still catch
COVID,
the virus that they're treating you for. Exactly. So once again, how can they mandate vaccines? I can get that. How can they mandate this COVID shit? I don't really understand that. So there's different levels to this shit, yo. Because it is technically a gene therapy and not a traditional vaccination. That's why you have to have booster shots, because it's not effective. Apparently, past a 6-month span. So you gotta get another booster shot.
Yeah, I'm
and
not
another
doing
booster
anything
shot.
that I gotta get a third and a fourth and a fifth.
Exactly.
Now the
So,
HPV, you do have to get them over time. Like if you get one here, then you get another one, then you get
but
another
that's
one.
years
But
apart,
this is the thing
too.
about HPV.
That's like
how many strands are there of HPV? There's over 30 strands. I think there's like 50 strands. So that's why they give you so many, because this one does this one does that, and this one does this. But like I said, with COVID, you got to get 4 boosters for one thing. Like, no, I'm not doing that.
And even some shots, like the TB shot, they say you get that every so many years or something like that.
To go to school, they make you get it.
Yeah, but that's like after years, not just 6 months. I need a booster, and then we have to account for a new variant, and now we got this new strand, and this new strand is just like, nah, I'm good.
Would you need this for anything?
never know.
That's right. I mean, I don't trust the government, but like I said, I can't help what I already got when I was a teenager or
Yeah.
before.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not big on the whole vaccine thing either. Like, I wouldn't know what to do bringing a child into this world because I wouldn't know what to do and what not to get. Like,
And
I don't
then
know.
like now, if your kid born at the hospital and you don't let them doctors pump all that shit in your kid,
They can't go to school.
No, they gonna call the cops and take the fucking kid from you.
True, that too.
They'll snatch your kid from you.
I mean,
right
you
out the
wouldn't want your
hospital.
kid to die from like something like fucking polio, though. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm kind of torn. Because like, no, I don't want my kid to die from fucking polio, rubella, and like no dumb shit like that. But at the same time, like, I just want my kid to not put nothing in their system. Like, even with us eating meat, I wouldn't let our kid eat meat ever. Because you just don't even need to have it. You'll never know what you're missing.
Yo, you can't.
So who do we trust? Nobody. I don't even trust like the black figures as much as we want to trust them. Every time I put my faith in somebody, then you get Omar doing that weird shit and Young Pharaoh doing that weird shit.
Everybody.
I'm just like, I don't know if they got mind controlling these motherfuckers or like if these are their clones or some lookalikes. I don't know. Voiceover. I don't know what. But all I know is shit has been real weird lately. So I don't trust anybody, even
Man,
if they
you
look
trust,
like me.
Trust your own damn self, yo. Veritas. I think I've heard about that, yo.
What the
Project
fuck is
Veritas.
this, big?
It's a buffer wheel. You put it on the drill, and then you can buff shit, different little things.
Okay, so it's not trash.
Yeah,
I asked before I threw it out.
yeah. Something needs to be buffed, like a piece of jewelry or a charm, or I don't know, something like that.
Okay. Some wire and a hook. Okay. Keep that.
Rumble. Never heard of Rumble, yo. Yeah, cause most of my fucking hard copy DVDs, yo, you can't find that shit on YouTube no more, yo. 9/11 in plain sight, yo, you can't find that shit on YouTube. 9/11 mysteries, you can't find that shit on YouTube.
Then that one we looked it up around 9/11 and that shit was extra expensive.
Yo, that they wanted fucking like $69 for a DVD. Or
That was normally probably like 20 or 30
Yeah,
bucks.
like $69. Like what the fuck?
Upcharge.
That's like one book I tried to order. They wanted like $200 for this fucking book. Like, bro.
Ha ha! A gold marker with a fine tip.
Oh wow.
Go to Plattsburgh, New York, and I would buy Nintendo 64 games.
Yeah.
Why? Because they were $79 or $89 a game in Quebec.
Oh,
He didn't declare it.
And I did not.
No, of
declare
course
it.
I could have done hard time for him in the back seat with his Game Boy.
Yeah,
Super
I
Mario Brothers.
Stuffed them down my pants.
I take
Like,
gold
hey,
time.
what's that in there? It's a chastity belt. You want to mind your own business?
Pedophile!
Like, why do I see
Oh,
an
they're
outline of
protesting everywhere,
GoldenEye N64? It's a branded belt.
Yeah.
I love the game.
Aren't you glad I
It's to
made it
turn
up?
off PlayStation fans. The hell's the difference? Mind your own. So, this is really another argument for the great.
Yeah, one of my homies he's a cop in Brooklyn, so I keep up on all the major New York news, yo. Oh, Australia's that's been going on like for a long time. Italy, like, it's everywhere, but we don't see it in our American news though. They just don't show it to us in America. That's why I listen to people like this right here.
This is the Great Reset.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about. You won't pay for childcare. You won't, but you will through taxes, and everything else will cost more. But you'll be happier that way because we'll have control. And by the way, when we say shut down and issue a curfew, our house, our rules. If you think this is a conspiracy, and I understand this, the term Great Reset, I want to be clear, it's not a cabal of everybody. This is something sort of misconstrued when people say globalists. It's not a group of people who get together with eyes wide shut masks, right, and decide how they're going. What it is you're giving an absurd amount of power to bureaucrats who are acting in their own self-interest, and so of course they want more control, more power, and the easiest way to achieve that is through taking more from you, right, and globalizing this economy so that now you have more elites versus you who can take control. And that's how they can say, hey, we can control the supply chain. Hey, we can make sure that, for example, we increase the taxes, but there's more government programs. A subservient people are a docile people, just like the beagles that they bred for experiments at the NIH. So here's from the World Economic Forum. And I watched this, and I thought, well, this is negative, right? This is the critique.
Surely.
This is the Great Reset. No, they put this out, just to be clear. Here, straight in the horse's mouth. As an advertisement. They think you're going to watch this and say, that sounds great.
This stuff saying there? Or should this come out?
You'll own nothing and be happy. Okay. Whatever you want, you'll rent and it'll be delivered by drone. That means no more delivery jobs. The U.S. won't be the world's superleading power. That means China will. A handful of countries will dominate. That's it. They think that's a good thing. Here's the one. You won't die waiting for an organ donor. We'll 3D print one. We won't transplant organs. We'll print new ones instead. You'll own nothing. You'll rent and be happy. So who owns it? Who owns it?
Yeah.
People don't realize the bullshit. This is why I can't stand Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. People say, well, at least they mean what they say. No, they're full of shit. Remember we talked about BlackRock, how they're buying up all the properties so that Americans cannot afford housing to effectively lock them out of the market? Elizabeth Warren said, we need to deem BlackRock too big to fail. What? I forget what they're worth. They're managing something absurd, many trillions in dollars at this point. And Elizabeth Warren, Miss Socialist, who says, right, we're fighting for you, says, BlackRock, they're buying up all the houses right now. They're forcing people out into renting. Too big to fail, which means they're guaranteed a bailout. But in this instance, even less so than banks.
Unbelievable.
Are they beholden to the kinds of regulations of too big to fail enterprises? There are some out clauses. No one should be too big to fail. Guess how something gets to be too big to fail? Through big government policies. Let's use a bank. Let's use banks as an example. Yeah. Okay? Let's use, because BlackRock also, part of their investments, we've talked about this, is they buy up a bunch of real estate.
Yeah.
You're a local realtor. You do well. You're a local real estate firm. I don't know the difference between a realtor and a real estate agent, just to be clear. I think they're the same thing. One is a better poster.
They definitely have a better poster.
Either way, my ass is on their face at a bus stop.
That's right. They have the logo.
I love when he says that.
So let's say you're a local real estate agency. Okay, you're doing well. How do you compete with a company that knows it has a never-ending supply of federal bailout funds? So the housing market is no longer a market. You go in, if you're an individual, or even if you are a local firm, you say, okay, we appraise this house, it needs this work, all right, $500,000. And BlackRock comes in, because they don't really care about how much it costs, and if they lose money, they're not the ones putting it forward, $500,000, we'll pay $5 million. And I'm going to rent you for this, because they have no intention of selling it back to Americans. You will rent everything, and you will be happy. Either the government will own it, or the government will deem their crony capital, their crony socialist. Let's reappropriate that term.
Yeah.
Their crony socialist corporate overlords too big to fail. It's the same thing.
Right. And if you had any doubt about what we're saying, what happened when we did the lockdown? Did small businesses boom? Did mom and pop shops grow? No, the wealth of extremely large corporation owners grew.
Grew by 6 trillion.
grew. Walmart grew.
Yeah.
All these other tech companies grew. You see the people that won in this case? And by the way, this isn't something that we haven't been warning against for a long time. There's a reason that you don't hand over your health care. We said this with Obamacare. Now, you don't have the vaccine. Maybe you don't get the organ transplant. Maybe you don't get that treatment because you're in a category, you've made a bad choice. Sorry, we can't help you. Oh, now we have your kids from 2 all the way through college, but then or high school, and then Bernie says we have to fund college after that. So that's another 4 years of indoctrination. So we've got your health care, we've got your kids, we've got your houses. What are you going to do?
This is directly while talking about the Great Reset from the World Economic Forum website. There's an urgent need for global stakeholders to cooperate in simultaneously managing the direct consequences of the COVID-19 crisis to improve the state of the world. The World Economic Forum is starting the Great Reset Initiative. By the way, Great Reset in capital letters. To be clear, that means they branded it this way. And now you can be fact-checked on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube for mentioning it because they say it's a conspiracy theory.
It's from their website, people.
Well, to be clear, they might change it because that video that we showed, it was from a tweet in 2016. They deleted it.
Did they really?
They deleted it because they realized you'll own nothing, you'll rent and be happy. I guess Frank Luntz showed up in some sneakers and a toupee and said, hey, this is not resonating well. How do they think it's going to go over well? Of course they deleted it. It's like, you will own nothing and you'll be happy. And then it shows a drone delivering a package. Yeah. And everyone is sitting there going, this is Minority Report. And everyone, it's great. They show little spiders crawling up and you're sinking into the back of that oracle. You're like, And by the way, smash that Rumble button. Those of you, especially people who are on YouTube, come here, smash the Rumble button. Show Rumble that you love them. Look, people out there who say, conservatives need to start their own YouTube. That's not possible. That's not possible because of government intervention, right? But what you can do is you can still use YouTube and also use alternatives, and that's what we do. Mug Club is what allows us to stay in business. I encourage you to join. But as far as the free show, which will always be available Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern. If you miss it, you can always come to Rumble, or of course always at Mug Club.
Much better.
Exactly. Yeah, so Crowder was talking about that too. The Great Reset. Own nothing and be happy. And he talked about Rumble. Yeah, I definitely like listening to Crowder. He puts you up on a lot of stuff.
I can deal with Crowder. Knowles is a son of a bitch.
Like, where you heard that at, Black Crowder? You check my Facebook page. I share a lot of his shit, yo. Taking kids to a gay bar?
Why? Why taking kids to any bar? Like, I don't even care that it's a gay bar, but why are you taking kids to a bar?
Here with Matt Orfala. You know Matt Orfala. He's a great video editor. Our first guest, his videos have gone viral with millions of views. Employed by Bernie Sanders' campaign in 2020. In fact, he wasn't, and they fired him. Because they
my black shoelace. I was going to use this for something.
For what? You forgot all about it.
Can't find it on Facebook.
Don't throw out my one black shoelace.
Are y'all recording this episode for hoarders? Because I think we're going to make it on the TLC.
Man, these sticky things can be used again for something.
Made a video
they can.
About the network.
Just like this piece of
wood. They plan a walkout over Dave Chappelle. Right?
My hair not even done.
Trans Netflix staff to stage a walkout over Dave Chappelle. So
yeah, if these things are still sticky, I'm not throwing them up. Ain't that right, Sticky? If these are sticky, shouldn't I keep it? Look, watch this. Watch, look.
6 people going.
You're throwing them away.
Look how sticky that's, yo. That's no effort, yo.
You got tape, like, look, you got hella shit in there. You don't need it.
The Netflix walkout.
I do, like, you know what? The letters I stuck to the wall, I should have used these and stick the letters to the wall. Because these shits are still sticky as hell, yo.
Seems like the news media is trying really hard to will something
just in case.
Reality.
Well, don't put them in there
reality
you're going to take them
just won't comply.
Thanks. Do you need this?
So that is what this looks like.
No. Yeah.
Online leftists are very passionate about comedy specials on Netflix. Hey, you don't have to watch them.
I was gonna clone myself.
David Chappelle's last two specials, he said the same shit. You didn't like it. You didn't have to watch this one.
I'll be the judge of what's sticky.
That's what living in a
See,
free
he's just trying to
society
say
is.
shit he don't even.
You don't have to watch it.
Yeah, that shit's still sticky.
So then
And
you
all
got a
of
hold
these
of you got a
could have been
hold of some
downstairs being used for
tweets
sauces.
and some
No wonder
information
we have
about
no
the lead
lids.
protester.
You know what? That's not where they
Her name
came
is
from.
Marie
That's how
Ashley
Tamani used to
Preston.
sell
Is that her
his
name?
Why did I?
Ashley Marie Preston.
Ashley Marie
Nobody
Preston.
had
The organizer.
She's the organizer, and I've
Used
heard
to.
where I've seen her
Back in the
before.
day, that was like years, like literally
Where I've
years
seen her
and years
before is on the
ago.
Young
But
Turks.
it's
They used
just
to bring
like
her on all the time.
he would. I'm like, bro. Ain't that kind of
Thinking she had
expensive
some
to package
insight or
shit like that,
something.
man? You
She-
get what
well,
the?
you're gonna
It don't
prove
close like
this
that.
video is gonna
And
prove
go in the front.
what a garbage
Open it.
person
No,
she
you
is.
see? No.
She has some
No,
insight
open
on.
that.
So she thinks she has insight on some things,
I'm
which
just
is
trying to.
I feel.
well,
some
things that normal people
He's like,
might
man, this shit's
consider.
only like $1 pack.
that's-
So what Matt
Just
does
handling
is he
it.
takes her words that she's
It
speaking
was.
about
I
Dave
thought I was
Attell,
gonna use
Dave
that. Put in
Chappelle,
what you call it in there.
and he then
Yeah.
juxtaposes them with tweets that
New
she's
radio I
tweeted
got?
over the past few
Yeah,
years.
but I didn't.
So let's
I
watch
guess
this
I didn't
and
need
enjoy.
that.
Ready?
I'm Ashley Marie Preston, and
But
I'm
then
the
at the same
organizer for
time,
Stand
I
Up
can't
Solidarity. My entire career, everything that I've done
mirror
has been about
screen my
pushing
radio,
boundaries. It's
yo.
been about holding people accountable.
I just cussed that Asian bitch clean the fuck out.
We expect more.
You mess up my order and then blame
Yeah,
me?
this can-
English is my first language, bitch.
Wow.
I know it's a lot to
This
ask
can
in
go up here, right?
California, but speak fucking English. Yeah, I said it.
We also pour social equity into these spaces. We
Just broke my phone on this Asian bitch's head.
Dave Chappelle doesn't get to suck all of the light out of that. And so the thing that I
This camera don't even turn on.
troubled by is
Latino and Asian businesses need to stop being rude and fucking disrespectful.
they don't have the same equity.
This Asian nigga at Subway got a fat ass.
They don't have the same opportunity.
He almost looks like a bitch from behind. Hashtag shaking my head.
We will no longer stay silent.
Asian hoes act like they won't get karate chopped in their motherfucking throat.
Just to be clear,
In real life, I'd smash your fucking head in, like a can of A&W root beer. Dick Ryder.
real violence that is by the trans community, for the trans community,
Bro, I would beat the dog shit out of you. Dick Ryder.
to understand intersectionality and what it means.
I have Asian friends, but they some motherfucking weirdos sometimes. Hashtag, I said it but we all think it.
Obviously, Ashley
Yo!
Marie Preston is a great
Who said this,
advocate.
Dave?
Furry slipper wearing ass fuck boy. Keep pretending for the internet. Dick Ryder.
Ashley Marie Preston has proven herself as an activist, also a friend and a loved one to many people, and her embarkment on activism. So thank you so much.
These motherfuckers. Faggot cocksuckers. Fat Mexican piss blonde Miss Piggy looking bitch. I love strippers, not in like a gay way. I love gay men, but this county clerk at Window G is a motherfucking faggot.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
That is the last time I helped that faggot fucker.
So for those of us who are standing in solidarity with the trans employees,
Another. Damn, Asian almost hit me while crossing. What the fuck is with y'all and damn vehicles?
Wait, sparkling.
Yo,
Make some coffee.
Yo, she's trying. Yo, heat my coffee up. My shit cold. Yo.
I don't really have any hands, so I'll do that.
Hurry up. Yo, this motherfucker sitting up here trying to be like, the greatest trans person in the world, but then you start reading their Twitter posts, and this motherfucker is like some hateful Asian bashing, like ridiculous ass individual, but they're getting presented with this award for being so, liberal and progressive and open and caring and understanding. But once again, you read what they type on the internet, and it's all like this really weird shit, yo. I don't get it. I'm listening to Jimmy Dore, yo. I listen to Joe Rogan, Louder with Crowder, Jimmy Dore, Michael Knowles. I listen to a little bit of Ben Shapiro from time to time, Jordan Peterson, Russell Brand. Sleepy Giants. Let me get to
Racist
this,
ass.
because this
I
right here
don't
is
do
funny as
Mexican,
shit.
Asian, or Samoan.
We need to have difficult and complex conversations.
You should be ashamed if you take abortion pills like Flintstone vitamins.
What the fuck?
Jeez. Is there more to that?
There's a little more. It's on Rumble. Because that's the Twitter
Everybody's
version,
talking
and
about
I'm limited
Rumble.
to 2 minutes, but it goes on for a little longer. 3 minutes, a 3-minute video.
Well, it's certainly, the hypocrisy is hilarious.
Yes.
That's what is hilarious there. That it's so, she's so outrageously over the top a disgusting person, and now she's somehow claiming to be, a Girl Scout, choir, like a choir girl or something. It's just so hilarious. It's wow. It's like if Trump was
amazing.
complaining about someone being rude.
Yeah.
So that was hilarious. It was great work as usual. So Matt did put that together. That was hilarious, and it really packs a punch. And it should totally end that Ashley Marie Preston. It should end her. It won't. It won't end her because the shit libs are shit libs, and they're afraid to criticize someone like her. That's just a fact. So, but guess what happened? So you posted that on Facebook. And your video exposing her hate speech and violent threats, which is what they were, made by the leader of the Netflix walkout protest, has just been removed by Facebook for hate speech. There you go. The decision was made by a Facebook team member. Facebook also removed other posts that included this post. What post is this? So this? So this was them saying what they did. We confirmed your post didn't follow community standards. We reviewed your post again, and it doesn't follow our community standards. What? You disagree with the decision. Thanks for your feedback. We use it to make improvements in future decisions. What the F? What they didn't tell you? What did you do that violate? They don't tell you what you did.
They say it violated hate speech policy.
Yeah, but they don't say that part. They don't say you said this.
Exactly. Jimmy, there's so much that's opaque, but first, let me comment on, so a couple of slides earlier, it says the post is removed from, other people, or other posts are removed. So basically, that's referring to every post that included the video. So it's not just from my channel, but anybody who ever shared it, it's now gone from their timeline. And in the previous slide, it was their confirming that they reviewed this. So this is after 18. So they had one team member look at this, and they determined that it's hate speech, even though this kind of criticism of hate speech is allowed.
Censorship is getting out of fucking hand, yo.
They reviewed it again on the appeal, and they made their decision in less than 5 minutes. In less than 5 minutes, and it says on the thing, 8:43. You disagreed. 8:46. We determined that you're wrong again.
So what? So how do you think this happens? I mean, so I get targeted. So there must be a target, or maybe, I know that she was in good with Elizabeth Warren. So
Shit, I'm sleepy. Not sleepy, but lazy.
It won't let me search this video, bro. So I'm on the home screen. I can click on this, I guess. I can play this, I guess.
I need help.
Yeah, it plays that, no problem.
Why she play like that? Babe. This is not cosplay, sis. You did not do that. And they be looking so good in this group. Like the black women that do cosplay, they kill that shit, y'all. I seen a really good Harley Quinn. But like I would not look at that and know that you're Daria. Ah. She didn't even get circle glasses or green laces. This dude's walking around in traffic with a lightsaber. He got a lightsaber too? Oh no. I would be so mad. Like the light is green, bro. Stop. Yo, these dudes really had a whole saber war in the middle of traffic.
Oh, let's see, Sleeping Giant has awakened London. It doesn't say anything about Sleeping Giant awakes New York, young. No, sorry, bro. I'm trying to search it on Rumble, but I can't. I don't see whatever video that is.
Babe.
Yeah. What the fuck?
So what kind of league is this?
What the fuck?
Well, goddamn. I want to play, but I ain't qualified. Yo.
I am quite aware of all the vaccine protests, bro. Like I said, my homies going through this shit right now. And I was just listening to I forgot what state said that, like, no, some city in Virginia was like half their fucking fire department just quit, bro. This shit is not gonna be good for a lot of people.
eating a whole watermelon picking cotton.
Oh, the Asian dude? Yeah. Biting that shit with his teeth, yo.
Mm-hmm. Although Asian people do like watermelon and fried chicken. Everybody likes fried chicken. But I feel like that shit was like hella racist. Even when Michael Knowles was like, black people like grape soda, da 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 da, I was like, hold on, bro. I'm slightly offended. Because I don't like grape soda.
I doubt if that bill is gonna really pass, yo.
Just crossed the Brooklyn.
Oh, the video is gone? Yeah, there's whatever you told me to type, that shit is not coming up there, bro.
Protesting the vaccine mandate.
Yeah, and
now remember, these
vaccine
are among
protest,
them thousands of
like,
essential
we already
workers.
know like all this shit is going on.
City workers that needed to be here when everyone else was in lockdown. They didn't.
He said, do y'all think that Creepy Joe's infrastructure bill is going to pass? They were just talking about it on the news.
Like I said, I don't know, man.
Sticky said it's gone, bro.
I don't know. There's so much shit in that bill, though.
Honestly, I feel like we shouldn't be starting at 5 today. I feel like we shouldn't start until 7.
What?
This event.
This is Bill Ryan.
Like, nobody's gonna come until like 8 or 9 o'clock anyway. On a Saturday night? Who's getting there at 5?
2010.
Besides old people.
And this is a bit of an unusual...
I mean, I don't know. We like to go out early and get back home, so I guess I can't say that.
Yeah, because we got like old people.
I've been like this all my life. My friends, when I hit 18, my friends wanted to go club. I'm like, shh, bitch, I'm trying to be in bed by 11:30. And now, shit, I want to be in the house by 9 o'clock and in bed by no later than 10.
And as with many of our
I really want you to come though, but I understand.
this person wanted to remain anonymous.
Free entry,
He has
free
agreed
drinks.
that we transcribe the audio, and so we thought this is a transcript. And this is going to be released at the same time as the video because it's important to be able to read the transcript at the same time as you're considering what I'm saying about the fear. And as we come into the story, why it's important.
Alright, we're gonna outline this drawing, and then we're gonna tone the canvas. And while the canvas is drying, I'm gonna probably varnish the one painting movie night. I'm pretty sure that's dry enough to varnish to get a nice heavy layer. I still might wait a couple more days for the other one with the raw packets on there, because I don't want to mess it up. But you know what? I could put a spray. Did I get more spray varnish or no?
In the heart of London itself.
What did I do with the water?
Some
Water's
people
there.
consider it almost a little bit like the Vatican.
I got the water there. I got the brush there.
You ain't got your coffee yet.
I got some hot coffee I'm about to drink.
Not only of Britain, but possibly the world. Many researchers consider that it's very likely that the City of London calls the shots on financial systems in America. They've got control of the Federal Reserve, the Bank for International Settlements, a whole bunch of things that happen. This is like the nerve center of the financial world. And it's very Masonic, it's very ancient, it's very traditional. And our source attended a number of meetings with senior Masons. And while many of these were interesting, they were routine by City of London standards. They were discussing financial affairs and so on and so forth. And then in June 2005, he attended another meeting that he thought was going to be a routine meeting, but actually this was something rather unusual. And he realized it was unusual as soon as he arrived. In fact, in his interview with us, the one which we have the transcript of, you will see that he says that he felt it was an accident. He was there. He shouldn't really have been there. He didn't know what was happening. And as such, he didn't really participate in the meeting. He was there as a little bit as a fly on the wall. He was just listening to what was happening. At first, he didn't even understand what was being discussed. Now, the people there were Masons. They were senior Masons. They were about 25 or 30 people there, including senior politicians who most people in the UK would recognize by name. I do not know who they were. He didn't name them, and I didn't ask them, but he said these are well-known names. The chief of police was there, representatives from the church, representatives from the military, 25 or 30 people. And as he listened to this story being discussed, it was an informal meeting. It wasn't like a big table with kind of notepads and water glasses and minutes and an agenda and a chairman. There were just people in a room who were talking about all of this stuff. And what they were talking about was a plan that had clearly been made a long time ago. And what they were discussing was they were discussing the implementation of this plan. They were discussing how things were going, whether they were on track.
Yo, this shit is so funny, baby.
And what, for example, to give a flavor of this, they were discussing between them some of the problems that they had in the implementation of their plan. And as this little presentation continues here, you will realize what the plan was. And I'm going to be revealing this in very much the same way as it was revealed to our witness and as he revealed it to me, bit by bit, step by step. The first thing that he heard was they were talking about the fact that Israel didn't look as if it was getting prepared to attack Iran anytime soon.
Just like you say, that's a great John in French.
Even back in June 2004,
Daddy said what?
they were apparently concerned that what it was that was planned on some kind of a timeline wasn't rolling out according to schedule, and this was an issue.
I don't know which one of them is calling right now.
So that attracted his attention very quickly because he'd never been in a meeting when this kind of thing was discussed. Then they were talking about China and how powerful China was getting, both militarily and financially, very quickly, and that the Japanese weren't doing what they were supposed to do, which was to interfere in some way with the Chinese financial system. They weren't doing that, and this was another problem because China was getting too strong too quickly. Other things that were discussed were, for example, the coming financial crash, the centralization of resources, everything that we saw starting to happen in October 2008. They were planning that and referring to it in their meeting in June 2005. So there was clearly a rollout of some plan here, and he was quite shocked the more that he heard, and when he really realized what was happening, he was extremely shocked. And one of the reasons why I'm giving this video presentation now is to soften the blow and interpret this a little tiny bit, because it is shocking information. And what I also want to do is I want to try and differentiate out between what it was that he reported, because he'd heard it with his own ears, and what it is that is his speculation and my speculation about how all this fits together. It's very important information. We need to know this stuff. Even though it doesn't look like it's going to be on track, I don't think this will happen. I think that there are a bunch of crazy people there who are extremely determined to do something, and they were in a hurry, and this is important to understand, they were in a rush to try and roll out this sequence of events. Now, what he described is what the sequence of events was. It starts with Israel attacking Iran. Now, this hasn't happened yet. There have been a number of indications that there are forces which are trying to push this into happening. You've only got to follow the news for the last 2 years to realize that the public is being prepared for a justification for this kind of thing. Iran is being set up as being the bad guys that deserve something to happen to them, and so on and so forth. Now, that's going to be the start of what is like the opening gambit in a big chess game. And the plan is to provoke Iran or China to retaliate. And our guy, our source, who is a military man, is privately as convinced as he can be, although this has never been made public and this is not publicly known, that Iran does have nuclear weapons. He believes that they have been provided by China behind the scenes. And all of this is intended because it's all right with these controlling forces that Iran has nuclear weapons, because they want them to be used. The plan is for either Iran or for China to retaliate after Iran is struck with a nuclear weapon. At that point, there will be a limited nuclear exchange in the Middle East, followed by a ceasefire. He heard this being planned in this meeting. This is being choreographed. It's like the script for a movie. This is exactly what's intended to happen. And during this time, the other thing that's being set up for this, and many people watching this will be aware that this is being set up in the background. We've had a lot of information about this from a number of good researchers from many countries who are reporting this on the internet, that things are being set up in many of the Western countries for there to be heavy controls over populations, martial law, increased powers on security forces who are not just the army or the police, but in Britain, for example, our source said that he absolutely knew personally for a fact, that a very large number of private security people, their powers were being increased to give them the ability to arrest people, the ability to detain, the ability to handle riots in streets. And here we're talking about just regular people working on private.
I'm sensitive all the time.
People parking tickets on the streets. Their powers are being increased in the same way. And last year, we heard.
My theory is Tupac Victor's death to get away from Jada. I cannot. Leave Jada alone.
At home in America, are ready to handle this kind of thing. There are a lot of indicators that this is being set up. And in this rollout of this crazy scenario, where it is intended that there will be a limited nuclear exchange in the Middle East, the idea is that as the world looks upon this with horror, then they will demand from their governments that there are heavy controls over travel, over communication, over people who meet, over people who protest in the streets. They want to make sure that they don't have crazy bombers on airplanes, crazy bombers in the shopping malls. They want to make sure, and because people will be driven into fear by this, they'll request and demand and insist on heavy controls from their governments, which will be justified. And this is where you're going to kind of get the martial law situation in all the Western countries. It's intended as a justification. All of this is just the start of something, because this story gets much bigger, and it's pretty horrifying. And if watching this now you're feeling a little bit shocked, this is how I was feeling when I heard this information, and this is how our source was feeling when he was hearing this information in this meeting, because this is just the beginning. Now, during the time of this ceasefire, everyone's shocked, Everyone's frightened. Everyone's really terrified about where this is going to go. There are all kinds of heavy controls over populations everywhere. And then the next thing that happens in this chess game that's being played is that biological weapons are released on China. You heard this being discussed in this meeting. They will release a flu-like virus that will be genetically targeted against the Chinese population. It's racially targeted against the Chinese people. It's designed to spread like wildfire and to knock out a large number of the Chinese people. And these people in this meeting were laughing about this. They said, China will catch a cold. Those were their words. China will catch a cold. And they were laughing about the fact that these biological weapons will wreak havoc among the Chinese population. And after that, then what effectively will be a kind of plague will actually spread right across the world to the West as well. Our source was not clear whether this was a Chinese retaliation or whether the thing would just spread out of control in the way that it would be very understandable if it did, whether it's racially targeted or not. These things actually mutate. So now you've got a situation where there's been a limited nuclear war in the Middle East. There's a pandemic that really is sweeping across the world and really is killing people very visibly. And you've got this totalitarian military lockdown in all the governments in the Western world because everyone's going to be in panic about all of this. And then, he said, then the real war starts. Something that would be justifiably called the Third World War with a much more major nuclear exchange. And at this point, I asked him, is this just about population reduction? What is this about? Why are they doing this? Why this insane Dr. Strangelove plan for just unleashing all of this stuff on the world? Why do it? Now, as our conversation went on, I started to find answers to those questions. Now, some of this is speculation. I want to share this speculation with you because it's important enough that we work together here to figure out what's going on. And there are some clues, there's some very important clues that I'm going to present to you here in this video. He said, absolutely, it's about population reduction. So I said, well, in this meeting, did they mention any figures? And he said, yes, they did, 50%. Half the world's population. This is planned as per the Georgia Guidestones. For those of you who don't know what the Georgia Guidestones are, it's a stone monument in Georgia in America that was erected anonymously a number of years ago. It's in 8 languages, and it's like an Illuminati manifesto for a new world, as it were. And just hold that thought about this being a manifesto for a new world. This is an important concept here in what I'm presenting. One of the key parts of this manifesto for this new world is that there should be a population of 500 million people. Now, 500 million people is an enormous reduction from the nearly 7 billion that we've got at the moment. That's pretty much 95% of people who would no longer be on this planet. And 50% is a step towards that. And there's a reason why they're doing all of this. There's a reason why they're in a hurry. There's a reason for this insanity. And when he was explaining this, then he said that they have a name for this plan. This project has got a name. And I said, well, what is this name? He said, it is called the Anglo-Saxon Mission. The Anglo-Saxon Mission. Now, I'd heard that before. It was something historical, I think, to do with the Crusades quite a long time ago. But I hadn't heard it in present-day context, and neither had he. And later on, as he continued to tell his story, I began to understand what I thought this might be about. Hence the title of this video, and the reason why I want to share this information with you, because we need to work together to figure out what's going on here. it's extremely important to understand. There's a plan, I believe, that Hitler would be proud of, which is so evil, it's so Machiavellian, it's so hard to face up to, it's so unbelievable that I need to put it on the table for you so that you can consider whether or not this might be a possibility. The plans that I've been describing are definitely a possibility because he heard them with his own ears in this meeting. Everything I've described up until now, up to and including a major outbreak of hostilities after the limited war. So the sequence is as follows. The plan sequence is as follows. Israel attacks Iran, then there's a ceasefire, then during which time there is heavy governmental military controls over populations in all Western countries. Then China is attacked by a biological weapon. It's a flu-like disease, it spreads like wildfire, this goes all over the world, and then they have a major Third World War. And then, by this time, 50% of the population will be destroyed. And not only because of the war or the plague, but because, as many of you watching this will understand, the infrastructure goes down in situations like this. There's no food in the supermarkets, there's no gas in the pumps, the telecommunication goes down, there may not even be water coming out of the taps. People are kind of thrown back into a Victorian era without the facilities to handle this, because most people don't have their vegetable gardens, they don't have their horse and cart, they're not able to survive in the way that we used to be able to. We're very, very vulnerable in our technological advancement. We're extremely vulnerable. And of course the controllers know this. At this stage, our source was speculating about why are they in
That is definitely something.
Why do they
all the gas dried up right now and everything.
this is
Like,
sort of
if you ain't got no horse, nigga, you ain't getting nowhere. Or if you're getting somewhere, you ain't traveling with a lot of heavy loads.
Then why not take your time and get it right and do a really good job? You can, this could be in 20 years' time or 30 years' time, it doesn't really matter. Why is there in such a rush? Our source said that he felt, from inside information he's continued to receive, that this is still timed for something around 18 months from now. And that puts it around about the middle of 2011. He doesn't know this for sure because these events aren't calendar driven. They're actually event sequence driven. In other words, this has got to happen before that happens, and then after that the next thing can happen, then after that the next thing can happen. So a whole lot of things have got to be in place before all dominoes fall.
What time is the mall open?
And they seem to be behind schedule in some of this. There are some planned events that
11 on Saturdays, maybe.
I don't know. Their hours are really weird, right?
When I was hearing this story was that our source,
You just
Henry
Google that
Deacon,
shit.
and many of you who watched Project Camelot videos and read their reports for the last 3 years will know that when we met Henry Deacon in 2006, he said that in his own inside information was that there would be a war against China in 2008. And that didn't happen. And all this time, at that time it didn't make any sense, and even now it didn't make any sense. It's like, well, all right, but why do this? Why do this? Why do this? Now, this was his answer. And our source is a pretty smart guy. He's been in the military. It's a totally different story that he didn't debrief in our audio transcript, which you have the opportunity to read, but he's had his own ET experiences in the military. He's got his own sources of information about some of the background of this. He says,
Yo, I gotta see who these dudes in the white armor are, yo.
Right.
That the
And how y'all survive.
Going crazy.
Huh?
Oh
Oh yeah, she is, yo.
Illuminati, the controllers, the cabal.
But you can see like she's on the spectrum or something, yo.
Yeah, like she's so smart and so cool, but she's like.
You either got AD,
Atlanta,
you got ADHD or fucking what is
He says that the best information that he's got is that the insiders
OCD or some shit, yo.
On the spectrum.
Or they are concerned this is going to happen. many who are watching this will know that this isn't a completely crazy idea. There are trillions of dollars that have been spent on deep underground bases for some reason which we don't know.
This is gonna be a good one too.
Yeah, I'm really gonna enjoy this.
Yeah. I like both of the ladies.
Where all the seeds of all
and even like
plants
the
and
men,
all
like they
crops in
just
the
remind
world
you of
have
like
been buried deep
them old,
inside.
not old, but older aunties and uncles that you would see in the church or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
There are many precautions being taken as if
Or like,
something might happen.
Jalen's father-in-law, like just familiar faces.
Resources, including the seed banks of the world. Now, if there is going to be a geophysical event as they believe, this is because it seems to be preserved Illuminati inside knowledge, whether it's true or not, that there are repeated cyclical geophysical events about every 11,500 years. Information about what really happened to Atlantis was very probably in the Great Library of Alexandria that burnt down a couple of thousand years ago. There are persistent rumors that much of that information has been retrieved and it's in the Vatican Library. This is information which is not in the public domain and which the insiders may have access to. Whether it's accurate or not, the important thing is to realize that they probably believe that this will happen, and they're making their precautions. And this might be the justification for this insanity that we've just heard about in this plan. Consider this. He said, if there's going to be a major geophysical event, something like a pole shift, maybe it's Planet X, maybe it's some kind of energetic phenomenon that the solar system is going to be moving into, that's going to somehow destabilize the Earth or the Earth's crust in some way. We don't know. But if there were to be a major emergency like that, something that would actually make a war look very inconsequential, the thing that will help the human race to survive it, or will help parts of the human race to survive it, is if there is already emergency preparedness in place before it happens. In other words, if you knew that there was an emergency coming, if you knew, for instance, that there's a hurricane coming in to hit the city, then you put all the emergency preparedness in place beforehand. You have the troops ready, you have the infrastructure ready, you have the military ready, you have everything that you need ready to handle this situation so you can respond and react and recover in the best possible way. Our source suggests that the reason for this whole Third World War scenario is that then the Western governments, with the Chinese out of the way, will be in a state of such totalitarian control of their own population that they will be best equipped to recover and rebuild the new world after a cataclysm. And he thinks that this is what's happening. And I have to tell you that this terrible logic makes sense to me, that they would think that way. I'm not for a moment agreeing that this will happen. I think this is wild, crazy stuff, but if they believe that it's going to happen, then this could be their justification for this kind of plan that we've heard about is really being discussed. And this now is my own speculation right now, which also makes sense to me, and I invite your comments and your thoughts about this. We need to work together to figure out what's happening here. It's called the Anglo-Saxon Mission. What that told me was that the reason for the name is because this is a white racist agenda for the inheriting of the new earth. It's a plan that Hitler would be proud of. If they think that a new earth needs to be rebuilt, a new world, think of that little phrase there, if a new world needs to be rebuilt after a cataclysm, they want the Anglo-Saxons to be doing it. They don't want the Chinese to be doing it. They get the Chinese out of the way first. And then the Anglo-Saxons will inherit this new world with the other nations, the Asian nations, the African nations, the South American nations, presumably it is assumed that they won't have the resources to be able to handle the situation in any kind of a way that gives them the strength to recover after whatever it is that they think is going to occur. So there are several other parts of this which also fit, and one of the reasons why this is an important presentation to make personally is my own personal thoughts, because up until now I've been following a lot of the well-founded research on these sorts of agendas. We've had our own sources of information over the last 3 years, but I've always had questions in my mind, like, why would they do this? You know, war against China, why? Third World War, why? And suddenly, a lot of these things start to make a little bit more sense. It's possible, for example, that when we heard from Jordan Maxwell in our interview with him, which we did at the end of last year, 2009, he described to us how he had researched a number of repeating symbols and images that had been used ever since the time of Hitler, and even long before that, about the dawn of a new day. There's something very important in Masonic and Illuminati thinking about the dawn of a new day. And here we have possibly the reason for their belief that if you think about the possibility of a cataclysm, and they think this is really going to happen, the 2012 movie that many of you will have seen, after all of the flood and all of the earthquakes and the tsunamis, then you've got these big ships sailing across a calm sea with the sun streaming through the clouds, and you've got the dawn of a new day, and the implication in that movie is that now those people will be able to rebuild the new earth because those are the survivors. It's the modern day Noah's Ark. It's possible that the dawn of the new day, that it refers to that. And it even occurred to me, and I'd be interested for other researchers to offer their views on this, that the very term the New World Order that we first started to hear about 20 years ago, actually longer ago than that, but the New World might be
just thinking out loud.
the post-cataclysmic world, the New World. It might be the order for the New World after the cataclysm. They may be planning who will inherit the New World. It may be nothing less than this. Maybe this is what the New World Order is all about. It really is the order, the plan for the New World that they think is coming. They think this is going to happen. Now, I say again, it's very, very important to differentiate out all of this information here. I don't believe this is going to happen at all, but they might be doing something crazy to try and safeguard what they believe is their own interests. This is what we need to be aware of here. And what I want to do is I want to just state really clearly why there are profound reasons for not believing that anything like this is going to happen. There are a lot of things that haven't happened which were intended to happen. Many of you will remember I think it was the 30th of August 2007, there was a B-52 bomber that flew halfway across America from Minot Air Force Base to Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana with 6 armed nuclear cruise missiles on its wingtips, something that could never happen by accident. It was illegal, it should never have happened. You can't even smuggle a bullet out of the weapons storage area in an Air Force Base without there being a whole bunch of signatures and everybody knowing about it, let alone making the mistake of loading armed cruise missiles onto a B-52 bomber with nobody noticing it. There was a reason why that happened, and that was actually prevented from going any further. It stopped at Barksdale in Louisiana. Some very brave airmen blew the whistle on that, and they did their job, and they reported it up the line. It appeared very, very briefly in the mainstream media, and after that it was completely covered over. Everyone said it was a mistake. That was no mistake. There was a reason why they did that. And what many of you don't know is that at that same time, at the end of August, a group of anonymous investors bet $2 billion that the stock market would fall by 50% before the 21st of September 2007. They stood to gain $4.5 billion if their bet had succeeded. These were what are known as put options. And the insiders in the stock market, they call them Bin Laden trades. It's a sort of ironic description because of the betting that took place around about 9/11. Okay, those people lost their bet. It didn't work. The plan didn't work. The stock market didn't fall. The bomber never went any further. And for all we know, that was intended to be the start of the Third World War. It never happened. Okay. We heard a few minutes ago, I was describing how Henry Deacon described that the war against China was meant to start in 2008. That didn't happen. A lot of people thought that was crazy. A lot of people thought he was crazy. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he heard something that was a real plan, but they're 2 years behind schedule, and maybe this will never happen at all. There are a number of other things that may have been planned and which have never transpired. It's very interesting to think about the so-called Mexican flu outbreak, the swine flu outbreak. For the last 6 to 9 months, we've been looking at a scenario where it looked as if they wanted to roll out vaccinations, they wanted a lot of people to get ill, they wanted to announce a pandemic. Even now, there have been proposals to extend this pandemic declaration for another 2 years, and nothing's happening. In England, we call it a storm in a teacup. There's nothing happening here. But maybe something was intended. Now, if it wasn't intended, it's possible that all of that could have been some kind of a test to see how people respond, to see how people react, to see how quickly it spreads, to see what the take-up of the vaccinations will be. And then, of course, us at Project Camelot and a number of other people who've been activists in this whole area trying to draw attention to all of this, now we're all in a database. They know who's going to stand up and start talking about all of this stuff. So it might have been an experiment, or it could have been a failed rollout of something. There's plenty of reason to believe that things are changing. This is the important thing. And those of you who've been following the work of David Icke, this is an important perspective here, because we support his work fully in as much as he makes a beautiful presentation, and he starts off by saying, we are infinite consciousness. There are many ways to put this, but it's very hard to disagree with that.
I did miss this piece, I guess.
Immortal, godlike beings who long ago forgotten what our power was. The potential of consciousness is enormous. It's very important to realize that how powerful we are may be the single most important component in this whole picture that enables us to save the day. This may be what it's really all about. Admiral George Hoover, who died in 1998, he was in the Office of Naval Intelligence in the US Navy. He talked to researcher Bill Burns, the editor of UFO magazine, and Bill Burns described this conversation with George Hoover to George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM. And what Admiral George Hoover told Bill Burns was the biggest secret, according to what the American Navy had found out. Very, very interesting story. They were talking about the Roswell visitors, and Admiral George Hoover said that these visitors were us from the future. They were time travelers.
Not time
They
travelers.
were extraterrestrials. Now, other researchers and whistleblowers have spoken about the same thing. And this is fascinating in itself. But what Admiral George Hoover said the biggest secret really was, it had to do with the abilities and the power of the consciousness of these travelers. Because...
So let me give you a couple examples here of Rotten Tomatoes. And, you know, we just reviewed Fauci yesterday.
Yes.
So got a great critic score. 91% approval. Just don't look at the 2% audience score. And this is probably what's going to happen with Superman. This is the thing. They're not actually trying to serve the audience.
Right.
That's the issue now. When people say cancel culture, look, it's accountability culture. It's not when people in powerful positions of power have decided that they will temporarily forego success for societal conditioning. Let me give you some more examples. Cuties, right?
Ugh.
Or if the FBI and DOJ were doing their job, it should be called tracking cookies.
Oh my goodness.
88% critics and 16% audience rating.
Imagine writing a positive thing of that as a critic.
Yeah.
I loved every minute of it.
I loved every minute.
Gee.
What'd you like about it most?
I don't want to
be in the record.
They're out there. I
watched it several times.
I was glued to my seat.
Yes.
Nobody wants to be Mr. Nice Guy anymore.
But unfortunately, it was a real nail biter, and that became so. Ghostbusters, 74% critics, 49% audience.
I saw that open-minded. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, no. Who's the 49% in the audience who said that was good? Who the hell are these people?
Leslie Jones reviewed it 49.
Just a bunch of guys.
I saw that movie and I went in with an open mind because I liked some of the cast and the director, and it is the worst movie I think I've ever seen.
I saw it on a plane and I walked out.
Yes, I would have.
Joke that I use all the time, but I'm fond of it. Kevin Smith, or as I call him.
I watched it in Denver.
Yes. Kevin Smith wears these commonly known talentless hack and hockey jerseys. His Masters of the Universe, 94% critics, 39% audience. That was hijacking He-Man and then making the show not about He-Man.
Yeah. When did that come out?
I don't know.
A couple months ago.
I didn't even hear about it.
My point exactly.
Yeah, it was trash. So.
Dear White People. 95% critics, 42% audience. Captain Marvel, of course, you remember Brie Larson selecting her audience. 79% critics, 45% audience.
Sucks.
Hannah Gatsby, Nanette, the one we're talking. Self-deprecation is, I'm not going to be, yeah, but you're in for comedy. Well, that's not what this is. Well, then I'm going to downvote it. 100% critics. 100% critics.
100%.
Nanette got higher than I believe Citizen Kane. 27% audience. Then compare that directly with Dave Chappelle, The Closer, 33% critics, 97% audience.
Wow.
Hillbilly Elegy, 25% critics, 83% audience. Death Wish, 18% critics, 71%. Need I go on? The point is here, this isn't just about market forces. And when liberals say, well, you're a proponent of the free market, well, the problem is you want to dictate, manipulate, shut down options of the free market, and then lay it at conservatives' feet saying, well, that's the case of the free market. Just like with subsidies, with energy companies. Yeah. This is not a free and open market.
No, absolutely not. And I'm fine with critics having a different opinion.
Of course.
There's always a little bit of a gap, but this is crazy, right? And it's not. It's on social things. It's on woke media things. It's on things that they can't come out against because they will be canceled. If one of the critics had written a bad review on some of those, they would have been accused of all forms of racism or sexism or whatever. Oh, you're against pedophiles? How in the world could you not like cuties? I can't believe he's against pedophiles.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
That's exactly what would have happened.
I don't know if God was a big fan of Siskel and Ebert.
Kind of rough go.
Yeah.
All right, 2 thumbs up. What the hell does that mean?
This one has floppy face.
Yes. Now, look, who's going to be the first critic? Let's be honest here. Genuine question. You guys answer below. Who do you think is going to be the first critic to line up and give a negative review, let's say, of a bisexual Superman or of a transgender? Who do you think is who wants to step on that hand grenade? Sorry, throw themselves in that hand grenade. You step on
the land.
I'm going to go John Tesh.
Yes.
Anybody else?
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.
He was racist as fuck.
Taj? I thought it was Taj.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what? Oh, yeah, that's a different person, man.
Taj or Taj?
He was definitely
Yeah, and most of his stuff wasn't funny. Every now and again.
Some of it, some of it was funny, but yeah, like you said, the majority of his shit was, I didn't laugh at it. It's like, I have these things, like, a degree.
Where have all the men gone? That's the focus of tonight's angle. Now, once relegated to women's studies classrooms and college campuses, the phrase toxic masculinity entered our cultural vernacular a few years ago. Now, this was around the time that the American Psychological Association jumped in to warn that males who socialize to conform to traditional masculinity ideology are often negatively affected in terms of mental and physical health. Well, the argument is that boys are conditioned to be tough and not show weakness. That's a bad thing, I guess. And then by suppressing boys' feelings, their emotions, then they're likely to be more prone to violence or aggression, more likely to end up in prison or in trouble at school. And people who work in gender studies programs, they're dead set against the old confining roles of masculinity. And you'll see this in a highly produced Hollywood conversation.
I think there's a model about being a real man in America. And I think sometimes that model is that more sort of stoic, hard, tough, etc. My friend Joe Ehrman, who used to be a professional football player, says that he remembers his father just saying to him, be a man. Man up. Toughen up. Don't be a girl.
This is how far we've fallen in America. Telling a boy not to be a girl, I guess, is now considered abusive. We're in an upside-down world, my friends, and I think more people now see right through the attempt that they're making to kind of wrap their attacks on traditional gender roles around an anti-bullying campaign. Well, that's absurd because real men do not bully, we know that. Real men don't beat their wives, we know that. Real men don't hurt animals or children, we know that. All decent people agree on that. And by the way, long before the phrase gender fluid popped up, good parents told their sons both to be a man and to be courageous, valiant, compassionate. Now, I heard my friend's father say, stop whining and be a man, and he was complaining about something. He said it a lot, actually. It didn't hurt my buddy one bit. He's a great dad today. But today, the radical left has one goal in mind. It's to destroy the underpinnings of the nuclear family by targeting the distinct parental roles that fathers and mothers play. Ideally, come on, we all know this, it's better for children to be raised by a mother and a father who are present and involved. Now, we also all know that single moms and dads do their best, but it's much harder, God bless them all. And I say this as a single mom myself. Yet somehow, this idea of the traditional roles, it's threatening to the radicals who see the traditional family, especially traditionally minded men, as an impediment to the ultimate goal of the left of socialism and rewriting of American history. Now remember, Black Lives Matter had the disruption of the nuclear family as one of its main goals. Now, the entertainment industry joined the anti-family, anti-masculinity crusade long ago. In television and films, male protagonists are often portrayed as kind of goofy, helpless, helpless saps or gender-fluid geniuses. From the dance class to the ballroom. Oh! The mailbox has been drawn! Yes! The floor work, darling!
It's only been since Thanksgiving, but it feels like forever.
Newsflash for Hollywood. Women want men to be men. Obviously, they also want men to be honest and kind and sacrificial and humble as well. But as an old friend used to say, most women I know, even women who work outside the home, prefer a man who will protect, provide, and defend. And we don't want men who will elbow us out of the way to print in the mirror, or men whose idea of a fun afternoon is getting a mani-pedi and a facial. No. Remember the man, by the way, the Obama people used in ads to push Obamacare?
You didn't want me to get a video?
Even Morning Joe all those years ago couldn't stop laughing at him.
Okay, no.
So they don't get the versions, they don't get a lot of attention.
Of course, all the Pajama Boy fans are totally shocked that young men are flocking to non-effeminate men like Jordan Peterson, who wrote 12 Rules for Life. And they're especially furious that millions are tuning in to listen to manly men like Joe Rogan.
Toxic masculinity, which is, that's a hilarious expression, because you need to thank toxic masculinity for all the bridges, all the jets, all the rockets, all this toxic masculinity. If you break down all the things that men have invented, and all these toxic men have prevented like you from being murdered in war and protected the country and all the different things that you could attribute to toxic masculinity, most of it's positive.
That's why people listen to him. Now, the fact is, the natural instinct of most men is to protect women. But that's slowly being beaten out of them by angry feminists or overly feminine men who love submissive types. This seems especially to be the case in more liberal urban areas. And the consequences are horrifying. Now, something that happened in a Manhattan subway car when a woman told a perturbed African-American man to take a chill pill. Watch.
Fuck me! Oh my god!
Oh! That sounds just alike.
Yes! Yo, you wildin'.
Oh my fucking god, yo.
What? That's OD.
Well, that went on, but notice what didn't happen. Not a single man on that train intervened. A more shocking incident took place in Philly last week when a woman was raped on the L train with other passengers aboard. Not a single one did anything to help her. And earlier this week in San Francisco, it was a young woman who chased down a man who pushed an elderly Asian lady to the ground. When the woman confronted the assailant, she was stabbed 3 times. Where were the men? Frankly, the mass feminization of men should trouble women the most. The victims in all those heinous attacks were women who were overpowered by bad men. And because the cultural elites and institutions have spent years villainizing masculinity, there were no good men willing to step in to save them. And that's the end.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.
You won me?
Introducing the all-new One-Wheel GT and Pine X, our best one-wheels yet. Say hello to the new flagship One-Wheel GT. Everything is upgraded, like more power to take on new terrain. It's engineered for more board feel and deeper carving. Customize every ride. Cruise confidently with more torque at all speeds. And oh yeah, it has over 30 miles of range. And meet Pine X. It's mighty, it's mini, it goes everywhere, it fits everywhere. Are you going? Hey, wait up! Aw, that's convenient. Nice, somebody's a natural. Whoa, that's far. Okay, we get it. You're a pro. Ah, you're back. If you could just... Exactly. 2 new boards to make everywhere epic. Get riding today at onewheel.com. This entrepreneur